Can't see you.
Thank you so much for jumping on today. We really appreciate you guys jumping on the June feedback call. Today with us we have our Executive Master Pro Tem, Blue Elam. Blue, are you there?
I'm here. How are you doing, guys? All right, Mike, setting this up. I got a few thumbs up. Let me get my screen different where we can see everybody. Oh, there we go. Bunch of happy faces this morning. How many we got on? Okay, I'm just trying to see.
We've got 24 people on, including
I see everyone now. I'm just making sure we have. Okay, good. So welcome, guys. Thank you very much. I think we had. I've already had probably, I think, 9 phone calls from people just excited about the weekend, the new start. It feels like people leading up into this 10-year anniversary in Kansas City is going to be awesome, and it was talked a lot about, a lot of excitement. And so we don't have a ton of new announcements, which is kind of cool. I think I'll announce a couple of things, and then Mikey, towards the end, if you have some things to just best practices to help you out, let me know. We'll bring that in towards the end as well. But one of the big announcements, Lori and Mark, I see you guys both on here. So first of all, thank you guys. Looks like you're in your Jeep. I see the Jeep handle hanging down there. We are moving the Fairfield, I want to say to Sacramento, the Fairfield, California LVA to Sacramento. What was the little town, are you guys, that we're actually moving? It's just outside of Sac, right?
It's Rockland.
Rockland, thank you. That's what I was trying to remember.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
No problem. I was just I just didn't want Sacramento, but we'll probably put parentheses Rockland and keep that in the title so people know. Perfect. But Sacramento's pretty central. Lori and Mark are kind of taking over the hosting there. And the thing I wanted to announce is how that happens, because I think some people, we get a lot of people come to us, and I think it'd be better here, I think it'll be better there, and we listen, but man, we want it to be in the best place in every area. But it's not something we just say, great, since you want it, let's move it, right? Or even if the host specifically wants it, we don't just move it. We actually, and I appreciate Mark and Lori's work on this, and also Mikey, but we printed off every attendee that attended, the last couple of events, and specifically the last event, because now we collect city and state from every one of those everyone who logs in and registers. So we know where they're coming from, how far they're traveling. And we had people coming down from Reno, driving through Sacramento on into Fairfield. And we had that travel, and it was kind of central to those 2 locations. But when we averaged all the people coming to that event, it made more sense to have it in Sacramento. And then looking for events and prices, I think we cut the price of the venue at least in half. I know. With what the work done by. Thank you guys, and recognize you as new hosts there. So we appreciate you. We also have them in as subs and as presenters. So it's going to be interesting when you have to split jobs and get a couple things done. And I think busy people are good at adding more to their plate. So we appreciate you guys. But just a little announcement. So if someone says, hey, there's one in Rockland or Sacramento, just know that is it is the Fairfield one. It just got moved a little bit to accommodate and facilitate more people hopefully being able to come. So we're excited to see the numbers over the next few months as well. But that was one change that was done there. So,
and Blue, if I could just say something real quick, I think that one of the reasons why it went over so well was the video that you did for us. It was a 2 to 3 minute video that just really explained it all so well to everybody. And we never had one person complain about the change, which is highly, highly unusual. And we really believe that it's because you took the extra time to do that video for us. So thank you. Made all the difference in the world.
Thank you. You're welcome. And I kind of laugh about how that video went. I was walking through the airport. I stopped in a kind of quiet corner, hit record, talked for 2 minutes, hit send, and kept going. So it really didn't take a lot of time, but I think the value of that video is information, right? We get rid of the assumptions, get rid of all the stuff we don't, and just say, hey, here's the facts, here's why, here's the process. Same thing about how we have presenters present and how we get hosts involved or new hosts involved. There's a process. We try to streamline it, and there's always going to be exceptions here and there, case by case, but we have a pretty good system in place. It's going to allow, the system we have allows for growth. It allows for expansion. It allows for new cities to qualify if they want to. And it's rewarding the locations that are working the hardest, that have the numbers to prove that they're working hard. And it rewards them with training that they don't have to travel as far, you know. Even we're only a couple hours from Phoenix, and that could be the answer, you know, looking at a map. When you have the numbers to support it, it's not it doesn't make sense to make a group travel that's going to do the work. So anyways, just some background on that, guys, and just so you know, and yeah, anytime we can do that, and I think we learned that from a lot of you guys. Some of you guys are really good about doing that and sending that video out even as a presenter a week early. And I know, Jason, you're on here, you do that consistently, and you guys have, a lot of you do that. I just appreciate the extra time, because it's not something we require as being part of LVA, but it's the right thing, right? It gets the people in the room. If you're going to go out there and travel anyways, why not have 80 in the room instead of 50? Right? And a little bit of extra work to do it makes sense. So, so guys, let's just go around the horn. If this is a feedback call, so if you have feedback, if there's concerns, please address them. If they're very individual, personal concerns, let's do it individually. We have no problems with that. If it's something that the whole group can benefit from, please bring it up. We don't mind. If it's a best practice, things like that, we love. You know, I love the attaboys. It's fun. We had a good weekend, but we're looking for real quick time-wise is just if there's nuggets that we can take home in the sense of best practices and in the sense of change or corrections that we can improve upon. So first thing, let's look at Friday again. I think we chop it up Friday and then Saturday. It helps. Logistically, I think things are doing you guys are doing pretty well at getting together early. I'll mention a couple things to start this off. I think the earlier you guys get in contact, and the reason I say you guys is because we have hosts and presenters both on the call. The sooner you get involved and get in contact with each other, the better things go, because we have communication. We have people getting to the right airports. You know, I feel bad when people spend extra money or they think they're saving a ton of money by getting to a nearby airport, being 4 hours away or something, and there's little things like that, and that's fixed by doing what? Early contact. Here's the best airport to get to, or here's the best two choices if there is a big price difference, because we also don't want to require people to pay a ton extra just to save 30 minutes of driving as well. So there's a balance there, and I think you guys are doing very well at doing that and getting better at doing that. So that's one thing that helps, early contact. It also helps and maybe used as a promotional video. I do think we're less and less about a secret of who's coming. I think in the past, it wasn't meant to be a secret. It was meant about the person. And especially when we had so many and so close, we had people that would ditch one area and drive to a different one because so-and-so was coming, right? So we were trying to fix other issues in the past. But I think now the best answer is let everyone know who's coming, and not just let them know, oh, it's guess who's coming and why. And by us doing a good job in the video and who they are and what they represent and what they're going to teach out, we're finding better response in just getting that information. But again, still promote the event. We're not coming because that person's coming. I hope we're coming and we don't miss one, right? So early contact, the videos are out, and then let's discuss Friday night a little bit. And again, the topic right now typically is opportunity meeting or not, how your area is doing it, if there's best practices. We have some that have really adopted it and doing well with an opportunity meeting. Others still haven't. But let's just talk through Friday night real quick. If you're passionate about something on Friday, jump in real quick. Let's chat a little bit on Friday. Go ahead. You can just unmute on
Hey,
yourself
Blue,
when
it's
you're ready.
Patty Goolsby out of Colorado.
Patty, go ahead. Thank you.
So we've adopted the Friday night opportunity meeting. I will tell you with logistics, it's difficult getting to both the opportunity meeting and the leadership thing together because of travel time. I've tried to switch it up all around town, but I have to say it is kind of a struggle. I'm trying to, or we've been trying to really do both. If anybody has any markets, what are you guys doing that can make it a little bit easier? I mean, we've got people flying in at 1 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday. Then we're trying to get an opportunity meeting together and get people across town to do the leadership. And it's just logistically tough for everybody to do that. So any of the larger city of your input.
So Patty, I think your common concern, and it's and here's the cool thing, guys, is we could do just opportunity or just leadership, but we're trying to maximize the person coming in. They have such a talent that we'd love to take your top leaders and train them, and so that we don't want to let go of that because we have so many good reports. But then we also have so many people saying, man, when we have a top leader come to town, it gives us a break, or they've heard us for so long, and it gives us another voice and another training on how to do a presentation. When somebody comes into town and does it their way with the same information, the same 6 principles, the same obviously background and everything, it's just fun to have that difference. So the fact that it's hard, I understand, but it's a good thing. I think we're all like, man, it's hard, but let's make it work. I'll just say this, the whole idea when you just said we have this and we get across town for this, just planning it conveniently. I mean, we've had, and I'll just give you some of my personal experiences real quick to lead this off. If there's a couple key things you guys can jump in, but we've had times where we've had a opportunity meeting in someone's home. It was large enough, it held everyone, and they actually said, hey, if you're a Pro 3, and they let them know ahead of time, we're having the opportunity meeting from this time to this time. But at 8:30, if you're welcome to stay if you're a Pro 3 and above, or Pro 4 and above, or Pro 5 and above. And it was the hard part there was getting everyone out that wasn't qualified. The fun part was getting everyone out that wasn't qualified. It actually was kind of cool. They said, hey, are you Pro? Hey, you got to go. We have an important meeting coming, and we get some personal mentorship because we're a Pro 3. And it was almost a positive thing. They're like, well, how do I get to Pro 3? We had people that were brand new saying, well, how do I get to this meeting? We'll help you. And they're almost, it was hard to kind of push people out, but with the right host and I think Kai Hayes did one of those. She did an awesome job. Her happy personality was so fun that they were leaving smiling, thinking, man, I got to go get to work, right? We've had other areas where kicking them out was so hard. The leader brought the guest, and you can't just kick the guest out and the leader be there. So thinking of that ahead of time is important. A little early, I'll drop you back off. I'll come back. Having things close together. Sometimes it works well just to have the opportunity meeting, and we suggested go somewhere just so that everyone say, thank you guys, we're out of here. Even if you drive across the street to a different house, it's easier than kicking people out. I heard that suggestion, which was awesome, and it worked. People have the opportunity meeting as they want with some of the leaders there, but the rank requirement and above was able to step across the street and go do something, or down the road. But if there might be other logistics in making that work. So, but again, you guys, we've had some great success stories doing both, and I'd rather us not just pick one. I think if we can make it work, there's value. Now, there has been a phase where the area we're doing LVA is actually accumulation of 4 cities an hour away coming into that city, right? So it's a little more difficult to bring guests and then to possible, and we still made it work. But there's some areas where that works well and some that don't. But any other thoughts, guys? Logistically, I think keeping them close together, planning one early enough and one late enough. Sometimes it's harder to get guests early because they're at work, and sometimes it's harder to get the leadership early. There's some areas that all the leaders early, it's a priority. they get there early and they have that leadership meeting prior to that event. And then that way, after the opportunity meeting, they can hang out and do the meeting after the meeting, and it's effective. So you guys are doing a great job making it work. But if there's any advice for Patty real quick on some of those larger areas, jump in real quick, guys.
Hey, Blue.
Oh,
Everett, go ahead, bud.
One of the things that would help, that's always helped me and stuff on that type of thing, is if we contact each other early enough. And if we wait till last week, and what I mean by it is, Patty's got a good point there. If I haven't heard anything and I book my plane ticket's probably going to be 4 o'clock in the afternoon or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. On Friday, if we talk soon enough and we have an opportunity meeting earlier and then we have a leadership meeting a little bit later, then it's all doable. But once it's booked another week before, then it's kind of a done deal. And I've sensed some little bit of animosity with somebody before going, well, shoot, that doesn't work for us. But communication, such, Blue was just talking about it, is such a huge thing. The minute that somebody knows who's coming into their area, I would promoting that right away and contact that particular person and setting some stuff up to make that work, and just form some plans, because we're open. I mean, everybody wants to do an opportunity meeting. We don't have a problem with that. And leadership, I find the leadership meeting a huge deal. I mean, the opportunity meeting's a big deal, but I kind of find the leadership one even more important. I'd rather do that one. And it's like Blue said, I hate to pick one. I don't want to pick one, but I've been left with that decision before, and I said, it's your area. You tell me what works best for you guys. And so if you want an opportunity meeting, I'll do one. If you want a leadership, which we shouldn't skip the leadership, and I've seen that a lot where we've skipped the leadership, an opportunity. I don't know what your thoughts on that, Blue, are or what.
I appreciate you bringing that up. I'll just clarify policies, if we want to call them that. So far, the leadership meeting is required, if I can say it as nice as possible. That is something we've agreed and as a group and voted on, that we don't want to, again, we can do opportunity meetings 29, 30 days out of the month. That one is going to train the leaders and train your people. That's why we're there. The opportunity meeting is valuable. It is an option. Get with the host, the presenters, talk it over. Great advice. The earlier you get together and plan that, man, if you can get a different flight and get there at noon and make things work. I don't know, catch a flight at, again, 5, 6 in the morning sometimes instead of 7 or 8, just to make sure that works, and it's to do that. So yeah, let's make sure that the for sure leadership's happening. And a little side note to that, let's make sure it's a leadership meeting. I've been in 3 different situations so far where we've had guests of somebody saying, well, I brought my guest because I'm the squeaky, it's kind of the squeaky wheel mentality. I'll ask for forgiveness later. And I don't like that as much in those situations out of respect to the program. We have people that are Pro 2s pushing to get to Pro 3. They finally get there. They show up after 6 months of hard work and effort, and there's a guest in the room, and it just crushes them. They're like, dude, why did I, not that they shouldn't have pushed, but that why didn't I get that exception, right? So let's be careful. I've had a few situations where there's 2 or 3 guests. I'm brand new. I just signed up last week, and I don't know that till we start. And honestly, when it detracted so much, we spent 45 minutes answering the what is it question. What is the product? What are we doing? And the entire time that some other people traveled or flew in to be there was distracted. So out of respect, let's just, again, I'm not going to be a hard nose and at that point say, get out of here. It's not for you. I mean, but as hosts, let's be very careful that noted correctly and protected as a leadership meeting, and people qualify to get there. If, again, and we want to, the number got brought up last time. I'll talk this real quick. We want if there's between 10 and 20 people, I think we have the right rank. I really think that there's a good window of 10, 15, 20 people. If we have 40 people in the room and we're allowing Pro 3s, not the case, but if there was, we would say, man, this should be Pro 4s or 5s. If we have 2 people in the room because it's Pro 5, then we need to look at allowing Pro 4s or Pro 3s to train leadership, but we also want to cut off so that it becomes a mentoring session, not a 40 person in the room, and it's no longer one-on-one, or it's not just two people with 10 or 15. So anyways, we're looking for 10 or 15 people. Let us know if the rank needs to be adjusted to do so. We want to present it, and if an opportunity can be worked around it as well, we want to do that. But it's good to contact early, and you guys do have 60 days for the next one, right? I mean, we can get in contact and do a really good job and make that a big promotion if we can. So anyone else on Friday? Thank you guys for those thoughts so far.
Hey, Blue, this is
Hi,
Sarah from the
Sarah?
Portsmouth,
Go ahead.
LVA. And what worked really well is that when Mark Harris was our presenter, he was awesome. When he reached out to us, he specifically said, if you can just make sure everybody's coming with questions. And, just that preparation piece, it just went so well. And I think we were really able to just make his job as a leader to arrange his slides and to create something really powerful. It was the first time that we sort of promoted the bring your questions, be prepared, kind of set the stage instead of kind of haphazardly going into it. So I thought that was really powerful.
Good. Great job, you guys. And as host, you can do that. Something I like to have them prepare for, it's questions in general, which is good for leadership. And then I like them to bring one nugget that their team needs, right? There's times where as leaders, we get a little stuck or frustrated because we're trying to educate our team and get the point across, but they're not listening to us, or we're not the right person. Says the same thing and they get it. And it's fun. I laugh because they're like, why didn't you tell me that? You've been telling them for 3 months, but they finally got it. And so I love the fact to say, hey, can you make sure to cover this, or remind them of this, or here's a principle that I think this area is missing. And when we get 5 or 6 leaders saying the same thing, it becomes my Saturday training, at least a portion of it. So very valuable to do. And Mark, thanks for doing that as a suggestion. And you guys, that's a great point. So who else spoke up a minute ago? And I'm after Sarah. Go ahead if you have a thought.
Lou.
Go ahead.
Lou. Yeah, Stephen Tanis. Our event is in Oklahoma City, and we do have people coming from 2-3 hours away. So it is difficult to do an opportunity meeting. But what we have been trying to do is have there early enough that, say, at any time between 3 and 5:30. Bring your guests, kind of a one-on-one napkin presentation, ask questions, whatever. So we just do that in the lobby of the hotel. So.
Okay. Yeah, it's a great idea. But when you're traveling far, there's a few guests that will travel. Some it's hard, but I think that's great. I will say, in general, if somebody comes in early, we want to try to, obviously we want as many people as possible. If we can get a group and do a one meeting and talk to 10 people, that's best. But we all understand this. We didn't get to this rank by only talking to groups, right? We understand the value of that one person that needs someone to talk to, and we come in early. They can be there, and but yeah, let's do that. Just be respectful of their time. If there's 10 people that want to do that. We're not going to be able to do 10 one-on-ones, but man, if we can get 10 together long enough, that would be best. But that's great feedback, man. And if people are traveling that far and can bring a guest, and for sure. So that's awesome. So good feedback. Thank you. Any other thoughts with Friday, guys?
Blue, one other thing. You mentioned video. Maybe you talked about it last time. I wasn't on last time. Are you referring to a video that the speaker would put together and then host would disseminate?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah. What we're suggesting is that you get together early on, area might need, or where things are at, or the size of the area. I love to know kind of the average rank where people are at. I can get a good idea if everyone in the room, if the highest rank in the area is Pro 4 or 5, we kind of get an idea of where and time in the company and things like that. And there's some areas you go to that there's 5 elites in the room, right? I mean, it's just what it is. It's fun. But I love to get a feel a little bit through talking to the host. Where do I need to fly into? Here's kind of where every presenter has something they're passionate about, or certain modules that they really excited about. Their background is unique, and so I love just doing a quick 2-minute video that says, "Hey guys, this is who I am. Here's where I come from. Here's why I'm excited to come to your town. Here's what I want to bring. Here's what I want to share." And I love leaving them hanging a little bit, right? There is 3 things I think you need to do to build this business. I'm going to be covering those this weekend. Bring your notepad, and we'll see you there. You almost tease them to the point they're like, what are these things, right? Or give them 2 of them and tell them the 3rd one they can come get later, right? Or whatever. But whatever you can do to just excite them, let them know who you are. They get a feel for your personality. It's no longer scary because this guy's coming in town, or this gal's coming. They don't know who it is. It just breaks the ice and gives them a little bit of help. Now, another thing is when you give them that background and give them a couple things. Hey, I was a firefighter. I worked on ranches, on farms, and this is what I did for a living. Man, a lot of times that sparks if they present that video to their team and get it out there, whether that's a team Facebook thing or if it's just a text message that goes out, emails. But if it gets out to the team correctly, it's going to spark someone to say, man, that's that guy I've been trying to get that's a firefighter. This would be a good time. And it might promote everyone just making 2 or 3 more phone calls that they wouldn't have made before. And we're seeing a little increase and bump in the enrollments. And do it soon enough so that if they want to enroll, they don't miss the price break as well. And we can get them on pre-registration so we know they're coming. So, but that's my idea of what that video is. And it's been, some of you guys doing awesome. I've learned from watching your videos. They're awesome. So.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Lou, it's Cinda from North Platte. And it's an honor. This was our first one that Mike and I had, and thank you for the opportunity. James Hayden did an amazing, incredible job. We were totally pleased with Friday night and Saturday. I had a question on that video again. So we did like a Zoom call with him, and we got all of our team on, as many as we could. Is that the one you're talking about, recording and then getting out on a private Facebook page to our group? Is that kind of what you're talking about with the video? Is record that we have with him where we did just a promo call for LVA?
That would work as well. I mean, if the presenter, typically right now we're having the simple best practice is to send you a quick video that's 2 minutes that you just get out. The second step, and a lot of our presenters are doing, James, one of them, where they actually you'll put the leaders on the call or whoever you can and do a quick Zoom where you actually do the same thing I'm talking about. It's just face-to-face a little bit better, and we talk to them, and that could get out as well. And again, my point, I don't know if we want to turn those into trainings, but they're just excited. Here's some key points. Here's what I can bring. Love to see you guys, the short and sweet, quick videos that people can watch. And we don't want them to watch something and feel like they got the training. I don't need to come. They need to feel like, man, I'm missing out if I don't come. So I don't care if that's a 2-minute video or a quick Zoom that gets out to the team. That's either way, but let's just get something out there. But that's a good point.
Okay, that the presenters was making that short little video, but that's awesome.
Yeah, some do, and some have just started that. So that's what we're just saying as a best practice. We're welcome to do that. We don't think of it always as presenters, but if we get a contact early and get that video, it's helping. So, and thank you for hosting.
Hello.
Sorry, I missed you as a new host. We've had some changes recently. I know Stephan's just talking as a new host as well. And I know most of them, but man, thank you guys for filling in and picking up that role. We know, we'll just say we respect you. We know it's a lot of work. We appreciate it. And we hope the mentorship and the one-on-one time before and after to the airport, home from the airport, some of those things also help your business grow a little bit. We've seen a lot of the hosts become the presenters over time because of the leadership growth time. So anyways, thank you for filling in. I didn't recognize you earlier, but
That's
Patty,
okay.
you have something else?
I just wanted to say we've done a couple of lives. We did Facebook lives in our team page, and then what I did is I record it, shoot it out to all the leaders in the Denver area for their groups. We did that with Jason Kokinzie, Clinton, and Kimberly, and it was phenomenal. The excitement, and we left them hanging, and I know Jason and Clinton would say they felt it was phenomenal. It was different than that recorded. I don't know. It just felt different, but the energy was high and just off the charts. So just some tidbits.
I'll add to that, and I'll just say this. So I do this in every market. I really would like to, do this twice in a market. One of those little tidbits of information. This is who I am. This is kind of the passions I have within the World of LifeVantage. But then also adding to what Patty just said, just doing one of those question and answer times on a Facebook Live that may last 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be long, but I will just tell you this. And the experience that I've had doing this in every market, the ones I've seen the best are actually the ones that have done this question and answer time, where it seems to be the energy and excitement level, atmosphere, a higher registration form, and all that kind of stuff seems to be best in those situations compared to just that little 2-minute blip. Even though that 2-minute blip, I always get people saying, "Oh, we're so glad that you did. Awesome." And so I do recommend obviously doing both, but if you can, just get one, definitely try to get that the introduction question answer time for 10 minutes, just to really highlight, spotlight, leave the just a suspense there. It seems to be the better traction of the couple there that
Hey, Blue, I'll piggyback on that too. We did it in Cleveland. They had 30 some registrations. After I did it, it went to 50 plus, and then I did another one 2 days before, and they had close to 70. It's amazing because it's a huge Amish area, and I'll just tell you this: I did some stuff inside there, and it was awesome. Steve told me he couldn't be on, but we were talking earlier yesterday. They had the most pre-registered for they've ever had. I think they have 56 pre-registered right now, and I did some things with them. Did a little for the next coming one. And just keeping it up. So I agree with what Jason said, and I agree that you should always give them some, as a public speaker myself, I use some things to dangle to get them excited. Let them know who you are. Just like if I was one of the things that attracts my wife and I to some of the things that Jason does is he's built several different businesses, and so using those things that he's done with social media and building a spot with his wife and really made a difference with our group in Atlanta and some of the other areas. So yeah, I agree with Jason and Patty 100%.
Yeah, good point. I love the question answer idea because those questions will help you know what the area is looking at or what they're confused about or where they're at. And I think that's what helps me the most is to go prepared. If it's an area that I know, you already kind of come in with that, and sometimes those are the areas I don't think sometimes to do the video too. So I know who they are, I know what I need, but I'm not always thinking what do they need, right? The video goes both ways. Know who we are, and it helps us prepare and prevent, bring information that will be the most valuable to the area. So thanks both of you guys for that feedback. Let's jump into Saturday, guys, time-wise here. Best practices for Saturday. I think the two areas that we get into the most that aren't necessarily a standard are number one, recognition, and number two is pre-registrations. Those are the two areas where we have kind of a lot more of our personality involved, depending on how we're doing that. But the information I think is going well. I will say that we are working on just an updating and the PowerPoint. And so we're hoping to be able to do that. We do have a bigger span between this one and the next one. So as presenters, just be looking for that. We'll probably, we're trying to get rid of some of the old logos and just update it and the formatting and just a little more professional. We brought this in, this original one in from about 10 different people. And so some of the stuff that got copied in with a specific slide or a picture or photo or an idea got put in very differently. And so we're something a little more streamlined, but just know as presenters on Saturday, we ask that at least that first section with the 4 pillars are taught so that it's consistent. There is a consistent message and foundation of what LVA teaches. And then the rest of the time, we call them modules, right? If you want to really teach an invite module or really get into, some of you guys are doing a great job with social media. We have quite a bit of information when we get into the blueprint items, right? Anything around databasing and doing a presentation and those kind of things. I mean, some people are just really good and real passionate about individual parts. But if you break those into 3 or 4 20-minute modules, then the next person that comes to town is going to do, again, 3 or 4 20-minute. They won't all be the same. And that's why every single week it'll feel different, but it will have the consistency and feel the same because the pillars and the foundation are being taught every time. So we would love to hear your story every time. We would love to hear the main points of the pillars and why we as LVA feel those are important. And then we would love to hear your top 3 or 4 topics taught in a powerful, bring your A game type setting where we can bring that and show them our view of those areas in the business that are important. So that's the main foundation. Now within there, we do recognition. And a little, instead of micromanaging that, we've left it a little bit open, to who speaks, in general recommendation, just say that what I personally like to do is say, hey, let's have everyone stand and we recognize them. But what I don't do is across the board, Pro 6s and above speak every. Some areas that would be 12 people and it doesn't work. Sometimes you're grabbing the 3 Pro 5s in the room to cover a little bit of time. What I try to do is to make sure there's about 3 or 4 that cover that a little portion of recognition with myself, right? We've been talking the whole time. It does break it up. And if we can grab the top few leaders, it gives a little recognition to the leaders in that area. And there's always something that I feel we miss for the area. And when a leader gets up there and says, hey guys, we've been working on this. Did you hear today when that was covered? That's the solution that we need to help this. And so that a lot of times the leader is the one that pulls together the information they're learning, the room, and recognizes that that's the answer that they've been looking for. And so so that's the thought on recognition. Now again, time-wise, we want to make sure that that's always available. But sometimes it's 2 or 3 people, and just be careful asking all the ranks to get up and come forward before you know how many of those ranks are in the room. Because I know a few people got blindsided and said, all the Pro 5s and above, come on up. And it was like 18 people. And, it becomes less valuable that way when everyone's just saying name and rank versus sharing a little bit. So anyways, there's some points there. Let's real quick go through that. There was one more thought I had. So pre-registration is recognition of the 2 main points, but what other best practices are working on Saturday? It can be logistics with registration. We haven't had a lot of concerns with, I think getting people in and out have been pretty smooth, and those things have been well. But any other last few minutes here? Go ahead.
Hey, Blue, I'll give you something that I think is what got the mass registration in Cleveland, okay? Because I think it's important that we do that. Going to be that there's going to be less events coming up, I think, that we've talked about, which we'll find out more about soon. But so what I did is I did a testimony of who's coming after me. So Gloria and Jennings are speaking after me in Cleveland. And so I did this, I taught a piece on leadership. And then I said, guess what? Let's get registered for LifeVantage Academy in August, or LVA in August. And let me tell you about who's coming. Literally after we were done, I saw people on their phones, and Michael Knock, who's taking over young entrepreneur Pro 5 in Cleveland, said, Michael, that was awesome. This is the most pre-registers we've had for a long. Once you guys know who's coming after you, and you right before you teach something that encourages them proper habits of doing things. I literally got up, I showed a picture of Gloria and Jennings, talked about Gloria and talked about Jennings, and then said, here's what you guys can expect. And I think it's great when you know who's coming and you can edify them and encourage them so that people can know what to expect. And it's worked great.
Thank you. That's a great point. And I think that does answer the question that we've been back and forth with is, do we promote just the event or who's coming? We do both, right? And the earlier we promote who's coming and the more positive notification we give and the more information as to who they are and what their background is, we're fine better. So those of you that still think that, because I still see people, that's a secret and you're just going to want to be here. I think that open the floodgates and just who's coming. And I think that's a great way to do it. So great best practice. I think that's a lot of people. So anything else you guys for Saturday? So one other topic I'll bring in that I just thought of, I was thinking of earlier, is the local leader presenter. And what I mean by that is sometimes that's getting missed. We taught it a lot early on and really held on to it. Some are newer and maybe didn't get a lot of that training. But we have found that it's been a lot of fun as presenters during that conversation with the host early on. We find out kind of who's the upcoming leader and who's right. We don't just pick a rank and throw them up there because of a rank, but this is someone, sometimes it's a Pro 2, sometimes it's a Pro 5, sometimes it's someone, it's the mover and shaker something out. You know, it's the one that it's been at the training for 6 months at the same rank, something clicked, and they just broke rank in the last 30 days, right? Because they did this, and this correctly. If there's someone like that in the area, guys, as hosts, be thinking of that person, because we would love to be able to recognize them and a little less of just recognition, but recognize them in a sneaky way, right? By asking them to take 10 minutes and cover a certain topic. I love when I get to meet them on Friday night, especially if they're qualified to come to that event, because I meet them on Friday, we have a conversation, and when I know their topic is on inviting, that's been used, we want to share that, or they're doing a great, real positive stuff on social media, whatever it is that they're doing well, then I can build it into deal on Saturday, my presentation and training, and it's been working out well to be able to them up, recognize them a little bit, put them on, hand them the mic for 10 minutes, and we know that what they're going to say is valuable, and we coach them a little bit the day before, and what happens is we end up promoting some leadership. So think about that as host. Be careful of assigning the time frame, the topic, and everything yourself. I really think that working with the presenter on that, so the presenter can squeeze it in. As a host, we don't tell that person when to come up. It's not necessarily a certain time. It's not in the presentation. It's going to be the presenter who decides where that goes, brings them in. I want to be presenting and then have a topic come in that is back at the beginning or at the very end of what we're going to do that day, right? We'd rather it flow with what we're doing, and it's been awesome when that works well. So again, don't be afraid to use a local presenter, and get together early and have that conversation of who that could be, what that topic can be, and what that looks like. So that's one other thing on Saturday that I was going to mention. Pre-registered recognition and then the local presenter were the three things for today. But any other stuff to close out, you guys, for Saturday? Thoughts, things we can be working on. We're all ears.
I have a question again, Lou. This is Cinda. On promoting the next events and having drawings, can I get a little bit of input on how some of you are doing that? As far as what I did was have tickets given away as they were registering that they could win, like a mug like this and some Axio, and I gave away three Terra pads to the person that enrolled for the next event and bought a ticket for the guest. And then as far as the swag, I just gave the swag out at the end of the LVA. But as far as this went, it was just for the person that bought the ticket and one for the guest. But then I had someone, one of the leaders in the group, say that they thought that was a mistake to do it that way because they thought our enrollment was down because people thought they had to buy one for the guest. Does anyone have any input on that?
Let me mention one thing, and this is just me personally. I love the fact that we use swag. It's free. It's from corporate. It's probably the right way and best way to use as something to hand out. Something for a drawing, things like that. As hosts, just know we're not asking you to bring product or stuff that you personally have to pay for or cover. We even have some areas where one of the leaders offers $100, and things. So I'm not going to tell people not to, but please know that we do not recommend or require as a host to pay for and do anything above and beyond being there and helping us and logistically. So just know that, first of all. But thank you, though. But I think there's always seems to be an issue when when you're giving product to distributors. We want their auto ships to stay up and people to get into weird little modes. I mean, to guess, I think it's great, but just be cautious with that, and more so from my point of view, so you don't feel obligated to pay $50, $60, $80 per event just to cover a promotion. So that's just my first thought. Second thought is, I think we have a lot of people using the swag very well, right? And however you want to add their tickets into the hat, I think pre-registration is a great one. Early registration, the last place I was, they gave swag away to the first 5 who enrolled the time before as a surprise, which was cool. That, hey, who enrolled? I got a list of who enrolled early last time. Here they are. And that was kind of fun. And so we had people jumping in real quick to be the first ones this time for the next one. I think there's some swag for that's good. I think always leaving some for a general drawing. I don't mind asking people to buy 2. I don't think, if we said, hey, it takes 5 tickets to be in the drawing, that would be different. 1 or 2 is fine. I think because that's helping the host. It's basically turning the entire group that buys 2 into a promotion group, right? They're all going to go find one person to help fill the room because they have 2 tickets. So they're going to use the information they just learned to go get another enrollment and give that new enrollment a ticket to the event. So I think 2 is good. And you've heard me say that before. When groups were getting people to buy 10, we ended up with a lot of things. We don't want some money for an empty seat. We want people there. And I think people, first of all, getting themselves committed to go. Second of all, maybe one other person, bringing my spouse next time for sure. I'm going to find one person on my team. Even better, I'm going to bring a brand new person that I'm going to enroll. I tell my group this last time, you guys, can you use today and go enroll one person in 60 days? I mean, everyone's like, yeah, we should, and we can. Well, take it to this event, and that will commit you to go do that. So we did put people in a hat that bought 2. And it actually worked really well. The feeling that they have to buy 2, we don't want to make it feel like they have to buy 2, but it's okay to say to be in the drawing you do. I think that's fine, but we just need to be careful on how we tee that up. But those are my thoughts, guys. I mean, the swag's there to use, and I'd rather that than coming out of someone's pocket for something. Guys, one way I did it one time is I literally asked everyone to hold up 1 or 2 fingers to what. And I had them hold them up high, and then I got my phone out and I videoed the crowd. So everyone in the room knew that I had them on video as to how many they bought. And it took 30 seconds to do that. I sent that video to the host, and the host just followed up. Hey, I see in the video that you committed to 2 tickets. It was just a fun way, help somebody commit and follow through. And it took me 30 seconds. So that was kind of a fun one time. And they said, man, I committed. I want to do what I say I'm going to do. I'm going to go buy 2 tickets, because what happened was we got short on time. And instead of spending a lot of time giving them time all, but by the end of that day, they did have the highest number of enrollments that they had. So anyway, but any other thoughts, you guys, to help send out with some ideas? Marcy, go ahead.
Hi, sorry, I'm in the train station on the way to Rhode Island tonight, in New York. But do you still have, at the beginning, when we first started doing LVAs a couple of years ago, there was an actual format that had for the presenters like a sample of the day in terms of the different, how you segment the day. And then there were a list of all the different topics that they could choose from in terms of, like you said, those 20, I forget what you called it, 20-minute segments or whatever. You know what I mean? Do you have a list of topics? Sorry.
That's called the show flow.
Yeah, so we have a show flow. It is being modified because we have added so many topics to that short topic list. When all of the group and all of the pro-tens were involved, it was managed a little bit differently. We have some presenters and I think some talents and some experts that have come in from different fields that we've been able to add some topics respectively with that. And so we are in the process of updating that. There is a general, but we don't hold people to your story is this. And then, I mean, that's what we didn't like before is your story is for 20 minutes and then your module for 20. And then you have, we did take out breaks. We don't want, I think having no breaks is easy because then people can go as needed and we go full 4 hours. And so we took out some of that in the new show flow, but we're still modifying it because we have things like when do we do recognition? Some might doing it in the middle and some might ending with it. And we don't want to tell the presenter they have to change, put it in. That's not what we're here for, but we just want to make sure it happens and it's in there. So we had 2 or 3 different show flows that they could, and we are revamping those. That's part of what we were talking about with the new slides, and it's there. It's just right now it's very old because we've added so much that's not on it. But we do. Thank you for bringing that up.
Hey, Blue, I can address what we do in the Denver market for pre-registrations.
Okay.
We have a great system of people entering at the beginning. As soon as it opens Saturday morning, we've already probably have anywhere between 10 and 15 pre-registrations because we give away to the first 5. This last time we had a lot of extra stuff that had been donated in for our 10-year anniversary. Then what Gloria and Jennings did this last time was they said the 45th person to register will also get something. And so at the very end, we had a giveaway for the 45th. We do not buy extra tickets or, any of that. We just really use the swag. And then we have a lot of the local leadership that will donate for new distributors or guests that participate. And this group of people that are always fighting for number 1 and the top 5 to register, which is great because they always show up and they have for the entire time we posted. So we love
Perfect. I like the top 5. I love the 45th. I think I would try to strategize. If I knew that we were on 20, I'd hold out until I got to 40 to get close to that number. But yeah, if they don't know where you are or things, it can be fun. You guys, great ideas. I think the biggest thing is that we recognize we bring it up, not just for 2 seconds and announce, we actually promote. There's a difference between announcing and promoting, right? And we want our hosts to be good promoters and our presenters to be good promoters, not just announcing that it's coming up and here's the date, right? So we don't care giving a little time to that. Again, I have seen people spend too much time, in my opinion. It's sometimes a 30-minute break in conversation and everything to make sure we get the pre-registrations. Because we want to just fire it out there, get people pre-registered, and then give them the value that they came to see in the 4 hours. That's why we got rid of the fakes and all this. So we get in there, get started on time, we end on time, and we just bring our A presenter, make recognition very, very concise and to the point and valuable, but build in some time to say, hey, get into every event. We just taught about it. We're going to show you that value now. This take 5 minutes, and then do what you need to do, whether it's the swag or promotions or the video thing where it's great, whatever you want to do, make it fun. But we want them to come back for them, right? It's not for us. We want them to come back with their team so their businesses can grow. And if they feel that from you, that they'll be there. So, guys, we got a couple more minutes. Any on Saturday or the whole program we can address?
I have one more question on that, Blue, and Patty. Thank you for that. That was great. I love that. When you give out the first 5, do you give that out at the end of the LVA, the swag?
No. Sometimes we've done it at the very beginning, and then sometimes throughout the program, the speed that it's something that we're promoting the entire event, and so usually after recognition. This last time we just held on to that last one because we had like 38 pre-registered, and Jennings said, okay, let's move it to 50. And then she backed it down to 45 would be the last person. And that's where we ended up with 46, I think, pre-registered.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Any other thoughts, you guys? Mikey, do you have any announcements or things that would help you on your end? We've been getting ahead on some of the contracts. Is there any one-off areas that we can do that offline? But if there's something as a general consensus that would help you, let us know as well.
Yeah, one thing that I would like to mention to the hosts is to please promote the leadership training/dinner. And also, if you have an opportunity meeting happening on Friday night, on Big Blue calendar. So we're promoting it to every single person and not just a specific group.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. We have there's some areas that have pretty good team group emails or Facebook pages that help, but we want people that are in a different city, different state, who have a friend there or just enrolled someone there to be able to find where that leadership meeting is, if they're a certain rank, or where the opportunity meeting is, if they want to send somebody. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Let's for sure get it on Big Blue as our general, spot, but then let's locally promote that as well. But that's a good point. You guys, thank you for your time. We're getting about half the people on here. Good. If you talk to any other host presenters, just say, hey, great call. We would love you on there. I mean, everyone on here, it's typically the ones on here that probably need this, as far as little corrections and things like that. It's usually those that aren't on here that we need to call later and say, hey, we need to fix this or that. But at least you guys are getting on. We appreciate it. And we thank you for your feedback, because this is a group that's going to drive the top end leadership, presenting wise and host wise, and be good examples for what the program should be as we all try to just improve upon what we have here. So we see this being something big. We see this being something that the company can hold on to, especially some of the decisions going on at corporate and some of those things and some of the changes. I just think the consistency we've had here in our message, the consistent we've had here in the group and the system and the consistency on the day, even if it's a holiday, we still have it. It's been very, very structured, and I think people can appreciate that. So I want to thank all you guys. Thanks to hosts for your time, presenters, and we appreciate all you guys.
Thank you, Blue.
All right, Everett. Thank you, guys. We'll
Thank
close
you,
out.
everybody.
We're right at time here, and we'll remember to mark this in your calendar, guy. After the next one, we want this to be consistent after each event. So put this in after the one. We have 60 days. Let's go kill it. We got a lot of time for registrations, to promote it, to make it happen. So we got time. But thank you guys very much.
Blue, could we put this in a WhatsApp thread, in a WhatsApp group, as an LVA feedback group?
That would be a great idea. Let me get with Mikey, and if we can get everyone, all the hosts and all the presenters in one group, I bet we'll pick up a few that aren't remembering or haven't even been on yet. So
yeah,
that's a real good idea. Mike, will you take that?
Great idea. Great idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
Guys.
Thank
Hi,
you,
guys.
So the What's Up app group. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.